And can you tell us a bit about the famous little Tyke?
Absolutely. Little Tyke was the most famous vegetarian cat in history. She wasn't quite a cat, she was actually an African lioness that was raised on a sanctuary in California in the 1950s by a couple, George's and Margaret Westbow. And she was raised with a lamb, a deer and a swan, all of who became her firm friends. And she was raised from kittenhood or lionesshood up to adulthood. The Westbows received advice from their veterinarians that they had to feed little Tyke meat, otherwise she would become severely ill. And they tried, but because she'd been raised to view these other animals around her as her friends and she'd never been taught to hunt with a lion pack, she had no idea how to hunt and that animal products were naturally consumed, and she in fact resisted all attempts to feed her meat. Her carers were so concerned about the veterinarian claims that she would become severely ill if she didn't eat meat that they posted a $1,000 reward for anyone who could entice little Tyke to eat some meat. So many tried to claim this prize, which back in the 1950s was worth quite a lot of money. But no one was ever successful in claiming that reward. She was reported to refuse milk with even a tiny amount of blood mixed into it. She was so opposed to consuming any meat or animal, well, any meat or blood anyway. So in order to safeguard her health, they would feed her a double handful of cooked grains chosen for their protein, roughage, fat, calcium, along with half a gallon of milk, along with 2 eggs. And to safeguard the health of her teeth, they would give her to play with a gumboot with her favourite perfume sprinkled onto it. And she loved this perfume, and one gumboot would last her just about a month, so that kept her teeth nice and healthy and clean. By the age of 4, she was 10 feet 4 inches long, which is 3.1 metres. She was 159 kilograms, 352 pounds. She could run at 40 miles an hour, which is 64 kilometres an hour. One of America's most experienced zoo curators said that she was the healthiest African lioness he had ever seen. So at this point, her guardians stopped worrying about what their veterinarians were telling them, and she went on to become a healthy, happy, successful television star. And she was later filmed playing with day-old chicks, kittens, and the producer's daughter on TV shows, so on one of the TV shows. So there you go, the most famous example of a vegetarian cat, and there have actually been others too. If you search the literature, there are other reports, at least one other report that I found, of an African lioness who refused to eat meat and who was vegetarian, also healthy.